Hi, I'm Roberta. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're making coleslaw. Such a comforting salad, something that we can make ahead of time, something that's good when it's left over, which is rare for a salad, and something that you can really adjust to make your own. Here's my coleslaw recipe. We start with some cabbage, of course. We get rid of the outer leaves. I'm just making coleslaw for two, so I'm using about 1/8 of a big white cabbage, and we just want to shred it as finely as possible. Now, depending how good your knife skills are, you might be able to go quicker, but slow and steady is the answer, because for me, I want nice fine shreds. I don't want it diced, but I want it nice and fine. So there we go, most of it in nice long thin shreds. I'm just going to go through it, and if there's any coarser bits like these, any of the rib ends, I like to just give them a bit more of a chop. So not too much rib in there. I think I got rid of most of it. There's one or two. We'll just take them out, and those ones are just going to be a fine chop, because we don't want a great big piece of cabbage in our mouth. There we go. Okay. Now, carrot, I like it coarsely grated. I've already peeled it, so we're just going to pop it on the bowl, and probably easier if we grate from the fat end, isn't it? And just grate that in. Okay, I think we've got most of that carrot in. We can sacrifice that last little bit. And green onion. Now, 3 or 4 green onions, depends on the size. That's a big one, that's a small one, they even each other out. If they're big, if they're thick, I like to just cut them down the centre. Small ones we don't need to. Just slice those up. I think for coleslaw some of the green looks nice, so we don't have to just use the white. No point in being wasteful, is there? And the thickest, darkest greens we can get rid of, but those little bright greens, I like to include some of them. There we go, there's our green onion. Now I like a little bit of celery, a stalk or half a stalk. Get rid of those end bits. I think it's worth peeling the celery. You don't need celery heart for this. I think for coleslaw the mature celery is good, but even though we're cutting it up, I don't really want to catch those bits of string in my mouth. They're quite coarse. So let's just get rid of them. Cut this down the middle. Down that end, I think I'll cut it again because it's still quite thick. And a nice fine slice. The idea being, when we take a spoonful of coleslaw, we're getting a little bit of everything. There we go, that's the last of our celery. In that goes. Now we just need to make our dressing. Coleslaw dressing, I love it. Some beautiful whole egg mayonnaise, whether you've made it yourself or bought a good whole egg one. Some lemon juice, some mustard. I love whole grain mustard. Good pinch of salt. That cabbage is going to soak up quite a bit of salt, so let's give it plenty. Good grind of black pepper. We are in the south after all. And because we're in the south, a nice pinch of cayenne. As much or as little as you like. If you don't want the cayenne, leave it out. This is another one of those wonderful versatile recipes that we're doing this month, where really everything's up to you. Okay, whisk, whisk, whisk. All right, that's beautiful. Into our vegetables. And coleslaw is one of those great salads that I think is even better the next day. So don't be afraid to do this one ahead of time. And It's also one of those ones where I think you've really got to get in there with your hands. You know how much I like to do that. So we just need to toss that through. I always feel like there isn't going to be enough dressing, and then once we get into it, there's plenty. So as I said, when you first put it in, it feels like it's not going to be enough dressing, but once it's all combined, it's fine. That's just right. We don't want dressing pooling in the bottom of the bowl. We just want everything nicely covered. Yeah, it's a bit messy, but you can always lick your fingers afterwards, can't you? There we go. And it's always handy to have a tea towel. There we go. Yum, yum, yum. Southern coleslaw, bit of cayenne, some of that gorgeous whole grain mustard, perfect with our Thanksgiving barbecue, perfect anytime. Enjoy.